Hey everyone, and just the next that it continues on with another rant on another trailer that another one that I saw that just came out today. Thought I had enough with the Cult of Chucky trailer. No, like there was another one that came out. I was like, oh god, wow, I wonder how this one's gonna go now. So yeah, this is for the new Jumanji movie. Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. Now this one it stars Dwayne Johnson, Jack Black, Kevin Hart, Karen Gillan. Now, which is also kind of ironic because Dwayne Johnson, he was in the film 2003, The Rundown, which had the original title was going to be called Welcome to the Jungle. I find that kind of ironic because now he's in a film that has the title Welcome to the Jungle, but he was in The Rundown where he was also in a jungle when the original title for the film was called Welcome to the Jungle. Except that film didn't have the Guns N' Roses song playing, this like it did in this trailer. Now, it said it's supposed to be a sequel to the classic 90s film, which I have right here. I'll just show it anyway. I love this movie. It's a childhood classic for me and my brother. Another one of the films that we both grew up watching together. Always had fun watching. Enjoying, loving Robin Williams. May he rest in peace. Which they say they want this to be a this new film to be a tribute to Robin Williams. I'm sorry. I wouldn't even. I probably wouldn't think that Robin Williams would have thought of wanting to have another Jumanji film to begin with, unless years back that they want to do a sequel and they would ask him to come back, maybe. But I just think this is just. It's for Robin Williams' memory. They should not have done this. I mean, I reviewed this film already. It's a classic. I think I put classic in the review, but still, it's a classic movie, fun '90s movie. I enjoy the cast: Robin Williams, Bonnie Hunt, Kirsten Dunst. I think it was David Allen Greer as the young kid. Peter. Jonathan Hyde. Great. I enjoy the score by James Horner, who's also now gone from us now, and in the direction by Joe Johnston. Now, a lot of good set pieces, some good the animals when they're stampeding together. The effects on those, it's not. I would say it's not as top notch as I thought it was back when I first saw it, though. Well, you watch it nowadays, it's a little bit I feel like I can see it's not as quite as great though, but still, the CGI is better than the CGI I was seeing in this. I mean, I like the lion, the effects of the lion, the monkeys. The monkeys I would say is another part of the CGI effects. I think I didn't mention that in the review. Yeah, that's another thing with the CGI monkeys that could have been a little better as well. But I like how all the good stuff that's happening with the house covered in vines and all or even the huge flower thing that was going to suck Peter in. That was a good effects, and the spiders as well as the house looking like a jungle in a way, and the crocodiles too. So yeah, it has some good effects, but also the story behind it to what happened with Alan as a kid and how we got sucked into the board game, and his beef between Alan and his father, and how we got sucked. And I would say the effects and how young Alan got sucked to the board game is A lot better than how the kids in this new film got sucked into the TV. But yeah, I miss Robin Williams. To me, this is if you want to do this, I'll say it's not a good way to me for in the memory of Robin Williams if they want to. Sorry. I mean, Dwayne Johnson, okay, because I saw Baywatch, not good, and it's the same thing in this. I mean, now with me seeing with Baywatch now looking forward to this, and now it's me questioning with Rampage. Maybe it'll be better in Rampage. But hey, but I still enjoy Dwayne Johnson from the previous films. I like his character of Hobbs in the Fast and Furious films. Hey, Doom, that I just reviewed recently. I like him as Sarge. Even the Rundown, which is one of my favorite of his. The Rundown, Scorpion King, he wasn't in much except for that horrible CGI of him in the end. That was beyond horrible. But Walking Tall, Race to Witch Mountain, that was good. San Andreas, I'll review that film. That was just, I remember when I was excited for that film before it came out, but now after I saw it, I was just a little bit more downer on it though. I don't think Dwayne Johnson wasn't the problem in San Andreas, but Central Intelligence, which is also another film that he starred with Kevin Hart, which I thought was I like that film. I'll say I like Central Intelligence because I think that was an honorable mention I did for my films for 2016. It wasn't in my top list though, but it was like an honorable mention. The other films I liked that was not in my top 10. Central Intelligence I can say I like. Well, yeah, more like I said, I did like Central Intelligence. But oh, and his voice in Moana as Maui. And Journey 2, I liked him in that. But the whole thing is just that these 4 teens, they get attention at school, like we haven't seen that done before in other films. They clean the basement, and they find this video game. Now, of course, that's one of the things I have now. The things I'm gonna be nitpicking on. That Jumanji is now no longer a board game, which is basically the whole thing about this film. Now it's a video game because. Way I say, because nowadays people just don't play board games anymore. They don't no interest in playing chess or checkers or fun games like this. Or maybe people still play Monopoly still, but other board games, they just prefer playing video games. So that's what they probably changed it because people don't play board games anymore, probably. But yeah, so they pick their characters. They get sucked into the TV, bad CGI. And they become the 4 characters. One becomes Dwayne Johnson, one becomes Kevin Hart, one becomes Karen Gillan, who plays Nebula from the Guardians of the Galaxy films. And when there are 2 girls, one of them becomes Jack Black, and you get this whole series of jokes when it's a girl trapped in a man's body. And I'm sure you see a whole series of jokes other than that. And Kevin Hart, which I'm not a fan of Kevin Hart. Never was. A lot of people think he's funny. Even my brother thinks he's funny. I was never a fan of Kevin Hart. That's just my opinion on him. And of course, you get the running jokes about why am I small? Because the kid that before he got stuck in the TV was a tall kid, but now he was like, oh, why am I small or short? And then they got the Guns N' Roses song, "Welcome to the Jungle," playing because they're in the jungle. And there's some people on motorcycles, some CGI rhinos and hippopotamuses, and they're on a helicopter ride, and then what Karen Gillan does like a flying. I guess now when you're in the video game, they have abilities now. So Karen Gillan does like a flying kick on one guy on a motorcycle. And I think also they're on a helicopter. The person who's flying the plane is more of the cast is Nick Jonas from one of the Jonas Brothers. Why? I was never a fan of the Jonas Brothers anyway, so I'm not questioning it. So, well, I am saying why he's in it though. But because some people need to remind that the Jonas Brothers are still out there because people don't think people talk about the Jonas Brothers nowadays. They talk about all these other new bands now. But yeah, I think he's the one that's flying the helicopter. So, and you get this bad CGI, this moment where Jack Black is swallowed up by a CGI hippopotamus, which looks not that great. It looks awful. Oh yeah, there's even one point because the woman who's in Jack Black's body, because they're all avatars. That's what they're called. Because it's not Jack Black, it's a female girl playing the game, and she looks at the guy, the kid who's in Dwayne Johnson's body. He's like, oh, that's a man, and you get Dwayne Johnson, oh, do not cry, do not cry. Great, here's you see that Dwayne Johnson, oh, do not cry, do not cry. Great, great. It's just more of that stuff now. Well, it's more like in Baywatch with him, between him and Zac Efron, when they talk about each other's balls, like, oh, my ball says the bad guys are in there, and Zac Efron's like, oh, but my ball is over here. But yours sounds a little more girly voice. Oh, well, they're girly, but they are wise, and that's that guy humor I just don't care for. Yeah, and especially especially with the song. Speaking with the song "Welcome to the Jungle" by Guns N' Roses, I would say that song was used better for the theme in the trailer for SpongeBob SquarePants, the SpongeBob the movie, Sponge Out of Water. Because that played the theme for Guns N' Roses, "Welcome to the Jungle." That sounded a lot better in that than this film. Because they use this theme for this because they're in the jungle and it's called Welcome to the Jungle. So it's fitting to put that song in there. So they're in the jungle and it's in the title's name. But I think it was a better theme than the SpongeBob movie Sponge Out of Water, which I think is a lot better film than this. Well, I haven't seen the film yet, but I'm judging by the trailer. And the whole thing is that, okay, the whole idea for them being stuck at the bottom, okay. But the thing is, though, maybe if they got there, because we can now, because Robin Williams has passed away now, but you could do the whole thing if they brought the board game back and use the whole experience that they're in the board game, get stuck into the board game, not with a video game, because that's kind of reminds me of, from Tron Legacy, how with the son, he got sucked into the arcade game. Why you just get the board game guy? Because that was the whole the fun thing about this. It's all from a board game. Everything came out of a board game. The dice and the whole thing where read what's coming out next. And the whole thing with Van Pelt, fun role by Jonathan Hyde, because he played the dad and Van Pelt. Come and face me like a man. There was some good fun moments with Van Pelt as well. But I like the whole story of the story, especially with Robin Williams, when he was a kid, the beef he has with his dad, and when he came out of the game, what happened to his world after that, after he came out of the game. Here, especially it's supposed to be. It's also a sequel to this film, but it looks like it has nothing to do with the first film. I mean, because it's another one of those films where it's either a sequel or a prequel. But it looks like a remake. Like with the Thing prequel. It's a prequel to the original 1982, The Thing, but at the same time, it looks like a remake. Or what other ones? Independence Day 2, the Resurgence. That it's 20 years of the first film, but at the same time, it looks like another rehashed version of it. It doesn't feel like it's directed by Roland Emmerich. He comes back to direct it, but it doesn't feel like it's directed by him. It's directed by another director or some sort. It looks like another horrible Sci-Fi Channel fest film. Or, well, Ghostbusters. The Ghostbusters, it's a reboot though, but when you have cameos from the original cast members, but. It's just one of this. To me, the prime example is the Thing 2011 film. It's a prequel to the A2 film, but it looks like a remake. Here, it's a sequel, but it looks like a remake of it. It looks like it has nothing to do with the first film. I don't know what was the bother of, but if they just maybe better if they instead of finding a video game, they just found the board game. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing with Jumanji was it was a board game. How the book was a board game. Even Zathura, which was a spin-off in the same universe for Jumanji, it was a board game as well, but except it took him to outer space. And I do like Seth Rogen as well, but that film flopped. So, but I don't know, Marcus. It's just one of those films is be just for it's like a film for whether what they want to do it like a sequel or something or a prequel or a spin-off wherever. It's like years when the first film came out. It's like 10 years or 20, well, mostly 20 years. They try to say, oh, remember, let's see, we'll do the nostalgia for this film. Let's see if it'll bring back the people who like the film. Let's see if it'll be any better. I don't want to. But, my brother, he looks forward to seeing it. Because I already discussed how he looks forward to stuff like prefers the new over old, but even to that's one of his even this film is one of his favorite films of all time. But I mean, I know he has a right to his opinion, but still, this is how we're always butting heads on touchy things like this for new over old new films and old films. We're always constantly butting heads and all that stuff. So. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to seeing this new Jumanji film. I'm not. This is me. To me, it's not in the for the. This will like in tribute to the. I know it's always a good thing to do a tribute, in the memory of an actor who starred in a previous film and they were pretty good in it. I respect that though, but to me, as this Robin Williams, may he rest in peace. Always loved him in this film. To me, this is nothing, not in honor of his memory. I would pretty much call it like an insult to Robin Williams, but to be more of a fact, because I felt nothing from this film. It looks like another, more of a remake, nothing to do with the first film, even though it's supposed to be a sequel, but it looks like a remake, like I said about the Thing prequel. It's better if you just don't make the film at all. It was save the time and money, just don't make the film at all. But Hollywood just doesn't learn. They'll continue making spin-offs, prequels, or long-awaited sequels that a lot of people don't ask for, but they're just gonna do it anyway just for the sake of the money, see if it'll be a big hit or not. Baywatch wasn't even that big, but it was not even that big of a hit. I think, well, it made money overseas, but domestically it didn't do well. And it didn't fare well with critics either, so not sure how this one's gonna pan out. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to this at all. And plus, it's coming around the Christmas time, and that's the time when it's gonna face stiff competition because it's the weekend after the next Star Wars film comes out. So I'm guessing it's not gonna make that as much money because it's in direct competition with the new Star Wars film, which is gonna take all the money away. So that's what I'm thinking. So I know that film's gonna make more money than Jumanji. That's gonna be because Star Wars is much more popular than Jumanji. That's why, way more popular. But anyway, yeah, that's my thoughts on it. So yeah, another trailer that sucks. Which one is worse, Cult of Chucky or this film? I would say Cult of Chucky because that's a franchise that should stop making any more the Chucky films. So I'll probably put that as worse though. But this should not make it at all. So, but yeah, I like Dwayne Johnson though, but I would say he's not gonna save the movie at all either. But anyway. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned. And to conclude on my birthday month is the review of Event Horizon. So that's going to be next. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned on the next movie review. Later.